As we gather for Homeless Day on the Hill, we acknowledge that we are on traditional lands of the Dakota people. We honor and respect the diverse Indigenous peoples connected to this land. We also recognize the ongoing challenges faced by Indigenous communities, including homelessness, and commit ourselves to addressing these challenges with respect and compassion. Good morning, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the Central Presbyterian Church for having us here today for Homeless Day on the Hill. We're very grateful. And I'd like to thank everyone, all the volunteers that helped make today possible. Without you all, we would not be here today. Thank you. My name is Jason Urbanchuk. I currently reside in Moorhead, Minnesota, and I'm honored to stand before you today as a Community Engagement Fellow with the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless and the Community Engagement and Communications Co-Chair with Homes for All. Alongside these roles, I am deeply involved in numerous local and statewide efforts to combat homelessness and address housing issues. Today, I bring to this gathering not only my professional dedication, but also my personal experience as someone who has lived through the challenges of homelessness. My journey has fueled my passion for advocacy and my commitment to creating meaningful change. As I look around this room, I see the faces of advocates, service providers, current and formerly homeless individuals, elected officials, and concerned citizens. We are a force. We are collected with passion, dedication, and unwavering belief. We are here today for one purpose and one purpose only: to end homelessness. We stand here on Homeless Day on the Hill, not as individuals, but as a unified voice. A voice that echoes with urgency of those sleeping on our streets, the desperation of families facing eviction, and the silent suffering of individuals lost in the shadows. We are here to say with one resounding voice, enough is enough. Excuse me. Thank you. Today we gather at a time of uncertainty, a time when challenges seem to multiply and the path forward can appear daunting. Economic headwinds, political divisions, and a lingering pandemic all contribute to the complexity of the crisis we face. Some may say that now is not the time, the resources are stretched too thin, problems are too big, but I say now is precisely the time. When times are tough, we don't retreat, we don't shrink back, we dig deeper. We rise stronger, we unite more fiercely, because the lives of our neighbors, our brothers, and sisters depend on it. Homelessness doesn't take a break during uncertain times, it thrives in them. We cannot in good conscience allow that to happen. We are not here to simply talk about problems, we're here to solve it. We're here to demand action, we're here to hold our lawmakers accountable, we are here to work together. We are here to work together, shoulder to shoulder, to create real, lasting change. Today we will share stories, present data, we will advocate for policies that prioritize housing as a human right. We will push for increased funding for vital services. We will champion innovative solutions that address the root causes of homelessness, and we will leave here today energized, empowered, and more committed than ever to achieving our shared goal. Ending homelessness is not just a moral imperative, it's a reflection of who we are as a community. It's a testament to our compassion and our commitment to justice. It's about creating a society where everyone has a safe place to call home. The task before us is significant, but it's not insurmountable. We have the knowledge, the resources, most importantly, we have the will. But we must work together, we must collaborate, we must act as one. Let us leave here today united, determined, and ready to turn our collective passion into tangible progress. Let's make this Homeless Day on the Hill the day we reignite our commitment and take another giant step toward ending homelessness once and for all. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome Claudette McDowell, one of the fellows of the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for another event. I am Claudette McDowell. I am the Administrative Fellow at the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless. Today, I want to take some time to give a big thank you to our champion sponsors. This champion sponsor is the Heading Home Minnesota Founders Collaborative, Greater Twin Cities United Way. I also want to thank the lunch sponsor, Align Minneapolis. I also want to thank the coffee sponsor, Wildflower Coffee. And thank you to the rest of the sponsor that can be found at the back of the sheet. Here is Kristen.
Let's give it up for our sponsors. Woo! Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten Roki and I am the Communications and Events Director with the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless. And we are so excited you are here. I just have a quick couple announcements about the construction and lawmaker meetings that I wanted to make sure that you knew that was happening. This pink sheet that you have in your folder, this one will give you some quick tips and tricks about the lawmaker schedules. Because of construction, the House of Representatives is closed and not in service, so all of your meetings will be in the Centennial Building. You'll note that there is a map as well in your folder, and there's this green sheet that gives you the directions from Google Maps. I just printed it and put it right on here. So you should be able to find the Centennial Building, but I do want to note that it's going to take a little bit longer to walk over there, so give yourself a little bit more time before your House of Representative meetings. In the Centennial Building, sometimes your meetings will be in the cafeteria, and sometimes they'll be in the cubes for your House of Representatives. So if you're in the cafeteria, you have to find your House of Representative member. It's a tough task, but they're not gonna find you because they have meeting after meeting. So my suggestion is to Google what they look like, and when you're in the cafeteria, find them. It's kind of strange, but go up and be like, hello, they'll see your shirt, they'll know they're there for you to talk to you. But that's gonna be the easiest way to ensure that you get your meeting taken care of. If you are in their office, you have to check in at security. You'll see it, it's a big building with glass windows or whatever. You go in there, you say hello, you say who you're gonna meet with, they give you a pass. If you use our website up here, you'll be able to check your lawmaker schedule, what time they're at, and if it's in the cafeteria or in the office. If you don't know, find us in our blue t-shirts. We can help you figure out where your meeting is, if it's in the cafeteria or if it's in their cube. Have a good time. It's going to be an excellent day. Your Senate meetings will remain in the Senate building unless it says otherwise on this schedule. And it's live in real time. So be checking that consistently throughout the day. If you don't have access or if you can't figure that out, please again, find somebody in a blue t-shirt. We'll for sure help you. Lastly, I want to note that I want to thank Align Minneapolis for providing limited lunch vouchers. We're doing something a little bit different for lunch today again because of the construction. There are only 2 cafeterias that are available. So those are still open. They close at 1:30 if your lunch is on your own, unless you indicated that you do need a voucher. If you need a voucher, find us in the registration room and we will help you. But we're so excited you're here. Give yourselves a round of applause to keep the energy going. Sorry for all the announcements. And I'm going to bring somebody else back to the stage.
All right. I think this is the most people that have been in the church. So I know there's folks standing. If you want to sit, feel free to go try to find spots. And there's a balcony upstairs too. Suppose I should introduce myself. I am Matt Trainer. I am the Interim Executive Director at the Coalition. Normally I'd be the Director of Advocacy, but my favorite part of this work is meeting with you all. So what I'm going to do is go over our MCH legislative strategy. But before I go into that, I do want to note in your folders, make sure you look at the MCH legislative agenda, the MCH endorse agenda, and look at the 2023 and 2024 legislative outcomes, because thanks to you all, we have a lot to be proud of for that. And you'll hear from some, yeah, let's do that. So you'll also hear from some legislators today that really made a lot of that possible. So our strategy this year is that thanks to all of you, we have such a huge base of advocates that we're here together, even if there's a lot more people not even here, that we're ready to take action. So we're tracking bills, and when bills do have momentum, there's a lot going on at the Capitol that's uncertain regarding funding, federal stuff, but we're ready to go. So make sure you sign up for our e-news, and we'll send out action alerts when the timing's right. But our ask for today is to make sure you're letting lawmakers know that they need to invest in ending homelessness, affordable housing, and just in case, protecting from cuts. So when you meet with your lawmakers, make sure you read everything in your folders. It's especially important this year. So there's some instructions in there, and every meeting we're going to start by asking your legislators to focus on ending homelessness and not political parties. We want to set the tone that homelessness is not a partisan issue, right? So we want to start the tone that way. You'll also notice that in some of those instructions that your group should prioritize people with lived experience to speak first to ensure they have time. You have a limited amount of time with lawmakers, and we want to ensure that if there is somebody with lived experience that wants to talk, that they are able to do so. Still be respectful of time because there's multiple people that want to share and talk to lawmakers. And we've been trying, we've been trying for quite a while now to ensure there's lots of people with lived experience talking to their lawmakers, such as DOF, our action alerts, other events, and leaders with lived experience providing their skills and their talents to the legislative process, such as our amazing fellows. So we have found that lawmakers such as those that you'll hear from today are truly prioritizing people most impacted to the issues to be leading advocacy efforts. So please realize it's not just a feel-good suggestion, but it's strategic and it's intentional to ensure people with lived experience are being heard and are leading. Because by focusing on how we advocate, we're able to identify the best solutions that lead to the best outcomes. So, final reminder, read through everything in your folder, please. It'll help with the construction and it'll help with the flow. There are some things outside of our control that will make it chaotic today, but please read through that. It should help. So now I'd like to welcome Homes for All, Angela Reed, and Miss Julian Jackson.
We'll get it together. Laugh with us, laugh with us.
Yes. Shall we dance? Can you hear us? Okay. So, greetings, salutations, and good morning. Good morning. Okay. It's a cultural thing for me. You have to respond. That validates me. Good morning. Okay. So, Ms. Jackson, educator, VIP, important, yes, but more than anything else, involved parent, still, to 34-year-old millennial Tandi Seasway. Parenting never stops, correct? It ebbs and flows, but it never stops. I'm also one of the 14 consultants for Mitch, Minnesota Intergenerational Council on Homelessness, with MICA, Minnesota Interfaith Council on Affordable Housing, one of 3 of the co-legislative leaders with Sue Watlow Phillips, who's in the audience somewhere. Where are you, Sue? Where are you?
There she is.
Oh, there she is. Oh, she's trying to hide up in the balcony. Okay. With Angela Reed, who you'll hear from in a moment. But Homes for All's vision is that everyone should have access to quality, safe, affordable, dignity housing of their choice. And I always like to start with quality, because as I'm in and out of meetings with the infrastructure, I always say that I want the same person that built their homes to build my home, because there's a huge, huge difference. And the mission for Homes for All is a statewide coalition to create policies and resources to prevent and ultimately end homelessness, and to ensure that every Minnesotan has a dignified home. And with that, I will pass it to the other legislative co-lead, Angela Reed, to share some of our other thoughts.
Thank you. You're so welcoming. My name is Angela Reed. I'm the Executive Director of CloseKnit. I'm a legislative co-lead for Homes for All, and I'm also your Hennepin County Governor for the Minnesota Addiction Council for Chemical Health and Resources. But most importantly, I'm a mother, I'm an advocate, and a leader who believes that housing impacts everything. Our health, our education, our jobs, and in every space I enter, I carry the stories of those who don't have access to stable housing, not because of lack of effort, but because of the systems that we are here to impact and change. We are here at the state capitol to ensure that our lawmakers hear a clear message: housing is a right, and the time to act is now. We are a coalition of over We are a coalition of over 200 organizations who come together and want to impact the whole spectrum of housing. We have to keep in mind that housing is unaffordable. 19,000 people are homeless any given night. 66% are people of color. But how can we do? What do we need to do? We have our agenda, and we have the power, and we have solutions. Our 2025 policy agenda includes a tenant hotline so renters can access legal help when they need it, the Bill of Rights for shelter residents, ensuring that shelters provide safe and dignified housing, 300 million for emergency shelters, 100 million for transitional housing, because no one should be left without a place to stay. A constitutional amendment for housing, creating permanent funded resources, 400 million in housing infrastructure bonds to develop and preserve critically needed affordable housing. Also a source of income protections, ensuring that landlords cannot discriminate against tenants for getting support federal, state, or locally. Statewide zoning reform, changing outdated zoning laws, investment in family housing and prevention. And so as we come together, it's because we fight for housing, stability, and dignity and opportunity. And we won't stop until every single Minnesotan has a place to stay.
And finally, I'd like you to remember that homelessness has more than one face, and that no matter how dire your situation, you still have options. And that first and foremost, homelessness is a public health crisis. And that we should not be ashamed, we should not feel guilty, and that it is not our fault alone. It is a societal issue. Thank you.
Hello, nice to see everyone here. I am Renee Rock, MCH Policy Fellow. I am here to introduce Ms. Jatu McCoy with Ramsey County.
It is such a glorious morning to be with you all today. It's a great day to be alive and a great day to be an advocate. Hello, my name is Jatu McCoy with Ramsey County's Housing Stability Department, the lead agency for Ramsey County's Continuum of Care, or COC, known as Heading Home Ramsey. I have the amazing pleasure of serving as the staff advisor for the Heading Home Ramsey Youth Advisory Board. And it is my honor to introduce to you two of our remarkable young people. This morning, you're going to hear from Tori, a courageous, empathetic, and kind-hearted soul who is eager to learn and is an advocate for youth. You'll also hear from another young person who is named Dakota, but also known as Bear, who is our president of the Heading Home Ramsey Youth Advisory Board. Dakota, a political science and American Indian Studies graduate from the University of Minnesota, Dakota, or I call them Bear, is a passionate, dedicated, community-centered advocate who champions for positive systemic change and is community-centered. So without further ado, please help me join in welcoming a warm welcome Tori to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jatu, for the introduction, and thank you all for being here today. As said, my name is Tori, and I'm a youth advocate. It's a blessing to be able to stand before all of you, to have this opportunity to speak and connect with my troop. These aren't just going to be words, they're also a call for action. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Do you feel stressed, sad, exhausted, tired, and worried at the state of our world? How political and economical turmoil will affect the future? Wondering what we should do? Feeling burnt out, you want to help, but you don't know how? Well, do I have the solution for you? And it's building up our youth by strengthening our community. To build and support our unhoused youth in Ramsey, we have to first know our youth. That means being curious without judgment. As humans, we tend to get uncomfortable when we see something new, something different, something we aren't used to. That's where judgment can sneak in. In order to put that judgment away, you have to question that discomfort. Note it, acknowledge it, and become curious. Where is this feeling coming from? Am I uncomfortable because this is something different than what I'm used to or taught? The world looks and is very different than it has in the past. Our individual realities and life paths are all very different. That's how it's always been, and that's how it will always be. Judging based on only your life experience puts a barrier between you and a growth moment. A small moment of curiosity can lead to connection and understanding. Connections begin with curiosity, not judgment. Okay. The youth here in St. Paul are our future. This includes our youth on the street. 42% of homeless population here in Ramsey County are youth. There are kids and youth in our community that struggle to get their needs met on a daily basis. Drop-in centers, warming spaces, free clinics, shelters are a really good place to start and to continue to advocate for. However, we are missing another key part when it comes to helping our youth. And that is creating more spaces and opportunities where our unhoused youth can connect with passion and purpose. And we can all do that by connecting through, hold up, let me rewind a little bit. We can all do that through education and connection. So my question to you guys is, what is something you're passionate about? Maybe it's baking, sewing, writing, growing plants, reading books, bird watching. I like bird watching. So it's important to remember that we're all born with passion, with hobbies we like to do. And we are also all born to connect and share our gifts. Teach a free class. Connect, oh, give me a second. Okay. Okay, all right, guys. All right. Thank you, guys. I'm ready. All right. Teach a free class. Create a group. Donate resources. Reach out to local organizers. Check bulletin boards at coffee shops. Organize yourself and spread the word. Let's share our gifts and talents to spread joy and passion. When we connect to our youth this way, we can also end up connecting to ourselves. Our moral obligation to all of our youth in Ramsey County is not only to provide basic needs of survival, but to create safe spaces for self-discovery and room to be themselves. A strong community is a community that supports all, includes all, everybody works together, and has a baseline of compassion. Have compassion for our youth. Don't blame our youth for not having a place to call home, blame the system. When youth make a mistake, know that stability is hard when all you know is instability and chaos. Have compassion. Then turn that compassion into support and action. And that's why we're all here today. So everybody give yourselves a big round of applause real quick. After today, however, commit to finding ways you can continue to support. Actively involve youth voices in the conversation on youth homelessness. Learn more about it. Start a conversation. Collaborate and organize with your community to create those spaces for self-discovery and authenticity. Spaces to connect with people and passion. The world is changing fast. It's scary, nerve-wracking, and a lot to take in. It's easy to feel hopeless, small, to become quiet and complicit, to dissolve into the noise of turmoil. But don't. Instead of withdrawing, reach out. Check in on your neighbors, housed and unhoused. Get to know the people who live around you. Get involved. Help each other out. Believe in your ability to change. Connect with not only to others, but to yourself as well. Change starts here, and then here, and then here. So community is as important than ever. And the ideas I've mentioned here aren't new. They are tried and true, shown to work. So we all must continue to rest, resist, reach out, and maintain resilience.
What's up, everybody? That's my friend right there. Let's go. So I want to give a special thanks to everybody here, to Jatu for that amazing intro, and to Torch for that amazing speech. As stated, my name is Dakota, but I'm also known in advocacy as Big Bear. And in addition to being the president of the Heading Home Ramsey Youth Advisory Board, I'm also a member of the Hawaii Foundation's Intergenerational Advisory Council. I'm a queer and two-spirit youth, and I have experienced homelessness since I was 9 years old. I was a chronic runaway from abusive foster homes, and due to me being in the streets at such a young age, I got into trouble and was placed in the juvenile justice system until I was 15. Despite those challenges, I am honored to be here and to share my personal experiences of homelessness and to be an advocate for those who are unheard. Thank you. As a young person, I never imagined I would find myself without a place to call home. But like so many others, I fell through the cracks of a system that is supposed to protect us. Being homeless at such a young age is incredibly challenging. It's a time when you're supposed to be dreaming about your future, not worrying about where you'll sleep or where you will eat next. Our children are the most vulnerable members of our society, and they shouldn't be struggling like this. They should be safe and nurtured and given every opportunity to succeed. But the reality is the systems in place often fail us and we end up on the streets. Minnesota is my home state, but it was also one of the first states to implement anti-homeless policies. These policies, rather than helping, often push people further into the margins, from criminalizing sleeping in public spaces to making it harder to access shelters. Anti-homelessness is ingrained in our systems. I think that it's time that we change that. To be frank, our stories are so much more complicated than can be told to you in like 5 minutes. The reality is, in 2024, Minnesota was reported to be the second worst state in the nation, showing 16% of unaccompanied youth experiencing homelessness. In Ramsey County, we have the youngest homeless population in the state. According to the Wilder Foundation, 42% of our unhoused family members are young people 25 and younger. meaning that when our systems fail, we fail at raising children. The truth is, our homeless response system is failing us. It is failing our children. It is failing the very population that needs us the most. So yes, like Torch said, these topics should make us uncomfortable. Children struggling should make you take a step back and evaluate what we are doing. Because the hard conversations we are avoiding due to our own bias, uncomfortability, or even cognitive dissonance is really, really hurting our unhoused neighbors. The promising thing is, it's not hopeless. We can be the best in the state, in the country, providing youth services. We can do things that minimize our children being at risk. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of watching them hurt at the hands of a system that we have absolutely every power to change. So what can we do? We can invest in long-term affordable housing. We need to increase funding for affordable housing projects and ensure that everyone has safe, stable, and long-term permanent housing. The number one predictor of homelessness is unaffordable rent. So we need to invest in affordable long-term housing solutions. These include specific supportive housing for those who struggle with mental health, substance abuse, and the unique needs of young people who have experienced long-term homelessness. We can strengthen social safety nets. We must improve our social safety nets, including better access to healthcare, better access to education, better access to job training programs. By providing these essential services, we can help prevent homelessness before it starts and help dissolve barriers to making housing accessible. And last, but certainly not least, we can end the criminalization of homelessness. We need to stop treating homelessness as a crime. Instead, like my good friend Tori already said, we should focus on compassionate solutions that address the root causes of homelessness. This means repealing laws that punish people for being homeless and investing in programs that provide real and long-term support. At the end of the day, thank you. At the end of the day, homelessness is not a personal failure. It's a societal one. We have the power to change this by investing in affordable housing, strengthening our social safety nets, and ending the criminalization of homelessness. So don't let anybody fool you. Collectively, as a community, we most definitely can create a system that supports our most vulnerable. Let's work together to ensure that no young person, no child, no human has to experience the pain and uncertainty of homelessness. Miigwech, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jotu, Tori, and Dakota. Absolutely wonderful. The future of advocacy is in good hands. Now I'd like to welcome one of our housing and homelessness champions from the state of Minnesota, Representative Gomez.
Good morning. Great to see everybody. So I just want to start. My name is Aisha Gomez. I'm a state House Representative, District 62A, the south side of Minneapolis. Thank you. And I was honored to serve as the chair of the Preventing Homelessness Committee when it existed in 2021 and 2022. So the first thing is I just want to start with a lot of gratitude to you all for being here today, to you all for consistently showing up for this fight over years and years, some of you. Some of you are new to this advocacy world, and we welcome you and we thank you for being here. It matters so, so much that you show up and you talk to your elected representatives and you tell them what is important to you and you share your priorities with them. As elected officials, that's like the most important thing
to us. And you are like the check for your elected representatives. And so your presence here is incredibly important. And, excuse me, and we've gotten some things done together. We got some things done together, especially in 2023, with Representative Keeler's leadership on a historic, yes. And, you know, we started that work in our committee in saying, like, we need a shelter system that exists across the state of Minnesota, not just in the cities. We know that people need to stabilize where they are in their home communities, and that's like the path that will lead to the most success for them. We know that our young people need special investment to ensure that they are stabilized and that they have the resources that they need. You know, we funded transitional housing. We did ongoing funding for shelter operations, and we invested a lot of money in housing because we know that this is all on a spectrum. And so we have a lot to be proud of, but what that means in this moment is that we also have a lot to defend. We have to defend our work. And Matt told us that we're not going to be political, but I'm going to get political for a second because here we are. Because we have to acknowledge the moment that we're in our country right now. And that's one where we literally have elected officials in Washington who are acting at the behest of millionaires and have put forward a budget resolution. And what it does is it cuts almost $1 trillion from Medicaid and from direct support to people who need help, with social services and with health care. And why are they doing that? Why would they put forward such a deep cut? The reason is so that they can give tax breaks to their friends, so that they can cut taxes for corporations and billionaires who are running our country. And implicit in this is something that's so important that we push back against. Because implicit in cutting safety net programs for people who need a hand in our country, where we are experiencing such deep inequality, right, along racial lines, but between rich people and poor people, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And what's implicit in this idea that we're going to cut safety net programs for low income and low wealth communities so that we can more richly reward giant corporations and billionaires is that you don't deserve it. You haven't worked hard enough for it. And we all know that that is bullshit, and that no billionaire works harder. No billionaire in this country works harder than one individual making it on the street for a night. And we know that they could never possibly hope to work like that. And so we're asked as policymakers to care about the budget imbalance and the debt, when what is getting us into debt is helping human beings afford their lives, helping people to have just like the basics, food, healthcare, and shelter. And that's when we're asked to care about the budget imbalance. But there's no question about the budget imbalance when they're trying to put money into the pockets of their friends. And we have to reject this whole conversation, right, about coming after the programs that sustain so much of the work that you all do, right? So many people in here know this thing, right? Know how hard it is to survive for a night on the streets, and know how hard it is and what a heavy load it is to work with people who are in these just impossible, difficult situations. And we get told implicitly that like what we do doesn't matter, and that what we do, and that caring for people is like, you're like a sucker or something if you care for others and you're not just trying to like build up your own bank account. But we know that that is not true, and we know that that's not what's true about us as humans, as our young people pointed out to us. And I loved where you were talking about who we really are and what we need. And what we need is like belonging and meaning and community. And we are being told all the time we're being divided and we're being turned away from each other. And that's what some of these big, like budget, things actually are about: dividing us from one another, about breaking up our solidarity, and about trying to fool us into thinking that, we live in a society where people can't have what they need. And it's not true. And so I apologies for going on a slight political rant, Matt, but this big thing that is happening in our country is connected to our work. It's connected to our work together. And so I just, again, I know that there are so many people in this room who have worked so hard when they're out there, and who have worked hard to get inside, and people who have worked hard and walked alongside people on that difficult journey. And, I want you to know that you have the deep admiration of a lot of people who work in our body, and you have our support, and we're going to continue fighting alongside you and fighting for the world that we all deserve, which is a world where everybody is housed and where everybody is fed and where everybody can live their lives. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Gomez. I would like to welcome another one of our housing and homelessness champions, my personal lawmaker, Representative Keeler.
Hey, Henny Wash Day, Matake Ape. Good morning, relatives. It's so good to see all of you. It's no lie, this is literally my favorite day of Days on the Hill when I come to the state capitol. I think when it happens at a really good time of session, this work is grueling, this work is exhausting, we work many hours, and it's refreshing to see all of you. I have worked in this capacity since being elected, and have become friends with many of you. I want to highlight, not what everybody said. Bear literally said everything I was going to say, proving that maybe this is the space you need to be in the future, right? So I'm not going to reiterate Bear. But it does matter, and we do need people in these seats in the future. Just want to plant that seed, right? So one thing I want to say is I do want to highlight the work that's come out of Moorhead. Jason mentioned that he's my constituent, but really cool things happen when you come to do more than just advocate on the day on the Hill. So Jason has worked alongside a lot of our research staff to actually develop the language that we're pushing forward when it comes to protecting encampments, having encampment movement with dignity, and really breaking the barriers to make sure that it's not illegal or criminal to sleep on the streets. So I want to just highlight that, one, because I'm really proud of my constituent, Jason. I think often legislators show up in these spaces and you think that you're going to hear something really inspiring from us, but the truth is we're more inspired by you. Jason came to me with his story and was actually really inspiring to move me into sobriety. And I think often we talk about needing community and we talk about needing people around us, and that matters. So not only advocating with your legislators today, build personal relationships with them. And we talked about sharing stories, but that really, really matters. I want to give kind of a purview on what we're doing to prevent homelessness. There's a lot of things that we talk about when it comes to the work we did with Pathway Home Act, the actual investments we made around Capital Shelter, ESP, Youth Homeless Act, different things like that. But the truth is, what I've learned in this space is preventing homelessness is really just human wraparound services. I sit in the education world, making sure that our kids get the services they need in school, and that if we miss school because of poverty, we're not kicked out of school. Making sure that we have social workers and teachers and staff within our school districts that can support our kids, rather than saying you're a behavior issue, you need to leave. Maybe we just need to lean in with love and support our kids in those services. So we're working. Schools are the areas that love on our kids the most, and they seem to have issues with some of us, particularly us Indigenous queer people. We've seen that through and through, and so I know that work. But the reality is a lot of what we're trying to do is in the human services and health lane. As Chair Gomez said, I'm a fangirl of Chair Gomez. If y'all aren't now, you know why, right? But the reality is we can give you a house, but if we cut all the services that support mental health access, SUD supports, we don't pay you a livable wage, we don't give you the time off to take care of your loved ones, we don't support you as you want to go and find these so-called bootstraps. I say I wore moccasins my whole life. I don't even know where the boot store is. So creating an opportunity system for all of us to thrive. And that does mean knowing who our youth are, knowing what kind of future they want for Minnesota, really leaning into building what the next 7 generations mean. And so I do want you guys to go and build relationships. I think it is about moving our pain into purpose. And we did that in the last couple of years. And now it's protecting what we've been able to do. And so go out and be great. One thing I do want to say, just adding to the complex meeting world that we're in over at the COB, adding to Googling us and knowing what we look like. What's been really beneficial for us as we're trying to find you all in the cafeteria is just write our name on a piece of paper, hold it up. So then as representatives are coming into the cafeteria, they just look for their name as well as you looking for us. But I also really love purple. Thank you for picking purple this year. It's my favorite color. I kind of outed you last year that you hadn't have purple, so I appreciate that we're all wearing purple. But find us, build relationships, say hi, take pictures, and continue to show up. Ongoing relationships only work when we show up for each other on a regular, often basis, because ending homelessness is an ongoing task. Whoop it up.
All right, that was outstanding. And I don't know if people saw, but we had a special guest speak in the back here. So Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Hey. So what we're going to do is all the program speakers, representatives, and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, if you'll go down and stand on the X, all the program speakers. Yup. And then our photographer's going to get an amazing picture. So I'll let you know when it's time, but if everybody could stand up and do whatever you want with your hands, get them in the air. I said I wasn't going to say that, but I did. So when I say go, it'll be time for the picture. Okay. All right, lovely program speakers and awesome elected officials. The photographers are right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. No, that's all right. So, fine. One, two, three.
Just giving Lieutenant Governor a minute here. We have Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan here, a champion for homelessness, as well as Indigenous rights, among other things. Lieutenant Governor Flanagan continuously shows up for Homeless Day on the Hill. Please welcome Lieutenant Governor Flanagan.
I'm going to use this box here to stand on. I'm small, but mighty. Buju, Peggy Flanagan, Ajishnakaz, Gishuewada McQuay, and to go, Boabagaga, and Cognitive Jaba, Mang and their name. My English name is Peggy Flanagan. My Ojibwe name is Speaks in a Loud and Clear Voice Woman. I'm a member of White Earth. My family is the Wolf Clan, and I am so grateful to be in this space with you. And I am looking forward to the day where we don't need to come back here to have homeless stay on the hill. And in this moment, the simple act of gathering together and saying we are standing up for one another, we are protecting each other, is one of the most powerful things that we can do. There have been years of making us feel isolated and alone, which are some of the reasons, frankly, why I feel like this toxicity and divisiveness has been allowed to just fester. A little bit of these guys and just being right here, coming together in community, sharing your stories, talking about why you care about this issue, why you care about each other, why you want to make sure that everyone has a safe place to sleep, a safe place to live. This is powerful and life-changing work, and I am grateful that you are here willing to do this work. This is the most packed I have ever seen this day. And we are ready, and you are ready to go down to the Capitol and simply do what is in your hearts, which is to just share your stories. Our stories are the most powerful tool in our toolbox in this moment. It may be easy for some electeds, not Representative Keeler and not Chair Gomez, but for some elected officials to say, well, that's just facts, figures, and statistics. But when you come and you are face to face with somebody, when you see a person and you see the dignity and you see the humanity in another, that is when we can change hearts and minds. So today is a critically important day that will continue out of necessity until we can very confidently say together, no longer do our relatives and communities have to go unsheltered or worry about where they will lay their head at night. And until that day comes, which it will come, we will continue to come and stand up for each other. Thank you for continuing to remind elected leaders and our fellow Minnesotans that individuals experiencing homelessness are our neighbors,